thing. For someone who's seasoned like you, you're in a whole different environment. Perhaps you can discuss the difference in creativity early on in your career to the pressures perhaps now, or as you were getting to this point in your career.
Well, I really think I was more prolific in the early years, and there were very good reasons for it. I was hungry, and I had no money, and I wanted to make money, and believe me, that in the end, although I'm pleased that I make my living through music, it is a living, and you have to work hard, and you're hoping to earn enough money to live nicely from what you do. So you have that going. You're hungry, you want to make money, you want to succeed, you want to prove to others and to yourself that you have it, and that's a lot going for you. Once you've arrived, I need the deadlines. I need those deadlines, because without those deadlines I get lazy, and I
Barry
get
DeVorzon procrastinates?
Yes,
Is that what you're telling
all
us?
the time, all the time. Oh, well, let's do this. Well, I'll do that tomorrow. But when you have deadlines, it brings your nose to the grindstone, and I think it gives my creativity the impetus that the earlier years of starving and trying to make it.
Are you composing more on a day-to-day basis when you were younger? When you had, as you're saying, you're striving and hungry, are you doing several songs at once, as opposed to perhaps now you were maybe doing one or over a few months?
It was my total focus of interest. It's where I was the happiest and what I wanted to do. And so, yes, I would say in the earlier years, much more prolific, and worked at it harder and longer hours than I do now.
Is it still fun for you, or is it work?
All music will always be fun for me. I think getting involved in certain projects turns it into work, and I try to avoid those projects whenever I can. But
we're going to be talking a little bit about Nadia's theme in just a moment. We're going to be taking a break, but when we come back, I want you to tell us a little bit about the inspiration that you had as you were watching perhaps Nadia Comaneci in the 1976 Olympics. So if you stay with us, we'll be back right after this, and we'll talk about Nadia Comaneci and Nadia's theme. Stay with us.
Light it up, drag it down, blow that smoke all around, dragging lady. Dressing fine, acting cool, what a shame you're a fool, dragging lady.
Don't be a smoking fool, you know it just ain't cool.
Girl, where you going with that dragon breath? When you walk in a room, no, they can't stand the fumes. Ooh, you dragon lady.
Tell me, baby, tell me,
baby,
why you smoke that trash?
Why, girl?
Everybody's saying,
Woof.
you ain't got no class.
Can't you see what you are? You're a drag, yes you are.
Dragon lady.
A message for you and me from the American Cancer Society.
Don't be a dragon lady.
Hi, and welcome back. You're watching Around the Town, and we're discussing Nadia's theme with the composer of Nadia's theme, Barry DeVorzon. Barry, let's talk a little about that successful song that was written back in 76, 77? Must be that era.
I think so, yes.
Around that time, because of the 76 Olympics. The inspiration obviously had to be Nadia Comaneci. How did you come about writing that composition?
Well, believe it or not, it wasn't Nadia Comaneci. And yeah,
that build up. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I know.
I did my homework, everybody.
Well, no, but that makes for an interesting story that probably most people really don't know. This song came from a motion picture called Bless the Beasts and Children, and it was a theme that was played in the picture when one of the youngsters in the picture died, and it was a very poignant and sad moment. And this theme was like a minor derivative of the major Bless the Beasts and Children. So you had the ninths, but they were in a minor, and it was a very poignant and sad moment in the picture. when the picture came out, about 2 years later, a television show called The Young and the Restless heard this soundtrack album and asked if they could use this cue. And it was really only a dramatic cue, and it was called Cotton's Dream on the soundtrack album, if they could use that as their main title. And we agreed. And so Young and the Restless, or Cotton's Dream, became theme from The Young and the Restless. A lot of people heard it on the daytime show, and a lot of people recorded it, but nothing really happened. 5 years went by, and Nadia Comaneci performed her first perfect score, and they were showing it back that night on ABC television, and it was a slow motion film clip of her winning this first perfect score on the double parallels, and they needed something to score that slow motion film clip. Lo and behold, a gentleman dragged out a 5-year-old soundtrack album from Bless the Beasts and Children, took Cotton's Dream, and put it behind this film clip. And the reaction was
a 10.
so wonderful that the record company put out the original track from that soundtrack album. And 1 million records later, Nadia's theme was born and has become the biggest copyright I've had to date.
Your reaction, though, that when I purchased the cassette just a few days ago and listened to the entire cassette, Nadia's picture's on the cover. So it's the public still thinks.
I owe it to her. I mean, without her image and without the association of Nadia Comaneci, it would still probably be one of those unknown melodies, cues, whatever you want to, themes, that were laying around. So I owe Nadia Comaneci a great deal. I owe Lady Luck a great deal. And I suppose it's gratifying to me because I always loved that piece of music, and to see it become a well-known hit 5 years after the fact.
Barry, what other
gratifying.
sleepers do you have in the closet that?
You know, we all have them, but it needs that set of circumstances to bring them to the public's attention.
Isn't that hard for a composer? Works very difficult, very hard, long hours composing, and oftentimes goes nowhere?
I think if you talk to composers, you'll find out that we all have one thing in common. We have a lot of our most beautiful and treasured compositions gathering dust.
Really?
that are unknown and probably will never be known.
Are you surprised by the success of Nadia's theme?
I think if I were to be honest, I'm always surprised at success. It's fleeting and very difficult to achieve, and it's always a pleasant surprise when something you do achieves a great deal of success.
Bless the Beast and the Children. Did you know that was going to be very successful?
No, I hope. It was the main title for the picture, and I introduced Stanley Kramer to the Carpenters, and they liked the song and agreed to do it, and that was exciting for all of us. And it went on to become a very successful record, and I was nominated for an Academy Award, and this was only my second picture, so that was really doubly exciting.
What is the most exciting part of your business for you?
Oh, there's just too many. I mean, I suppose being nominated, being awarded, writing the piece, seeing it achieve success. There's so many high points. It would be difficult to point out just one.
Some of the contemporaries that you like working with, perhaps you can tell us some of the people that you really admire and love to work with, or you haven't worked with and you'd love to.
Well, that list is a big list too. I think there's just a lot of wonderful composers. Jerry Goldsmith is one of my favorites, and Dave Grusin is another. We have some fine composers here in Montecito, Elmer Bernstein and Fred Karlin, and both of those gentlemen are fine composers and talents. Kenny Loggins is a wonderful artist and is also a friend who lives here in Santa Barbara.
Is it a high for you when you hear, I once saw this, an interview, I think it was Michel Legrand,